Yes, guys, hello and welcome back to the Spurs-related YouTube channel and podcast. I hope everyone's doing very well on this Sunday evening. Today, we are doing a very quick match review of the Tottenham versus Shakhtar Donetsk game. Tottenham coming out 5-1 winners in the game. What a performance it was, in particular second half, but we'll get into all things to do with the game. Today, I am joined alongside Johnny of Twitter. Well, he's the Twitter space connoisseur, if you like. Jack and Andre not available today, so I thought I'd bring in the best of the best guests. Johnny, thank you very much for your time, mate. How you doing?
Oh, listen, buzzing after today's second half. You know, that's what we wanted to see. That's what we waited 3.5 years to see. Progressive, attacking football.
That's finally get some attacking football. Finally, a bit of Ange ball. And there is many positives to take out of the game. Of course, we're not going to gloss over some of the negatives. We'll get into those as well. Don't you worry about that. But, Johnny, just very quickly, your first sort of thoughts overall, like you said, positive attacking football. But what were maybe the 2 or 3 highlights for you today?
Maddison, I thought, was superb today. I mean, listen, you can talk about Kane, right? But there are no words for Kane. I thought Maddison was fantastic. Some of those passes, the one on the outside of his right foot put Son in. Had Son been match fit, I reckon he would have been on that. I thought Papa Sarr, wow. You know, 20 years of age, man. I mean, honestly, he's playing above his years. He was mopping up at the back. He was carrying the ball through the midfield. He was shooting on goal, had everything. There was lots and lots of positives. I've got to be honest with you, there wasn't tons of negatives, but I thought Destiny was fantastic. His numbers were fantastic. I don't think he gave the ball away more than maybe once in the entire game. Kane's obviously his goals. I think the only upset, actually, I really wanted to see the back heel go in, because that really would have finished it off and probably added another 10 million to Levy's bill.
Yeah, I mean, if that went in, the 100 million from Bayern definitely wouldn't have been enough. I don't think it's enough anyway, but they'd have had to be paying 110, 20 million if that went in. I do agree. That little audacious flick second half could have given Harry Kane five goals. Can't believe I'm even saying that. But we'll get into things. We'll get into talking about the lineup. You said about Pepe Matasai and the Udoji you're impressed with. I do agree. I actually thought Emerson had a good game other than that stupid no-look pass that went to no one. You know, he always does something stupid, even in a friendly. But what was I going to say? Pepe Matasai, people are likening him to a young Yaya Toure. I mean, those kind of plaudits, without getting carried away, the sort of play style he has is similar to Yaya, isn't it?
Well, for me, I've got to tell you, when I watched him play in France after we signed him, I kept saying to everyone, he reminds me of a young Patrick Vieira. He runs and he looks like a Patrick Vieira, you know, the spindly look, but don't be fooled by that. He's got it all. I think there's a couple of things I noticed today about his performance was that I think Ange's been having a go at him about some aggression. He plays with his smile on his face. I think in the role that he plays, he has to have that bite and aggression. And he tried that 2 or 3 times and missed on 2 occasions and got booked. But that's what I want. You know, I want my team to play great football, but there has to be a nasty edge to it. There has to be
100%.
There has to be that. I just think he's fantastic. So I can see why people think he's like Yaya, because the way he carries the ball. But I actually also think he looks like a very young Patrick Vieira. Neither of the 2 comparisons are anything to be
not bad, is it?
There. Yeah, 100%. I think we got us a £50 million central midfielder, personally.
Yeah, 100%. I think we got him for a little bit of a steal, and hopefully that value will show through in this season, because I hope he doesn't get loaned out. I don't think he will now. I think he is generally part of the plans for Ange, whereas last season, obviously under Conte, he did at the start get loaned out. And talk to me very quickly before we get into the lineup about, you said about aggression and getting stuck in. Christian Romero getting a yellow card in a friendly. How pointless was that?
I think he got the ball, did he not?
I mean, it's Johnny. Even if he got the ball, it was the most ridiculous decision.
I've got to tell you, honestly, I hear you, but I come from a generation where that shit's normal.
Yeah.
I mean, I swear to you, if you showed that video to someone like a Dave Mackay or Norman Hunter, they would have been applauding it. And in fact, they wouldn't even have said that was a foul. You go and look back, right? I went and showed my son some old videos of games, you know, Chelsea and Derby and Leeds.
Yeah.
It was filth. It was absolute filth. I think we've just been a bit sanitized, you know. I mean, in a world where people go and watch UFC, right? You know, people get battered, and then they go to a football game and like, oh, you know, I understand there's you know, you don't want to cripple people. You're not trying to injure people. There's a balance between an aggressive centre back and like destroying them. I just think he walks the line, but I want my defenders to walk the line. I know that sounds harsh, but you know, he's not Vinnie Jones. If you ever seen any of Vinnie Jones's old videos,
no,
right?
exactly.
Okay, I mean, he's not that, but I like that. I want my team to come out. I want the team when they come down the tunnel to know that they're gonna feel every single challenge, right? They're gonna know it. I want Højbjerg getting stuck in. I want Richarlison, you know, if he's playing, to get stuck in. I want an aggressive team. I mean, Destiny Doji, he got some good tackles in. Sarr was trying to get them in.
Yeah.
Mickey van der Ven, he's not like that. That's why I'm quite excited about him, because he's the yin to Romero's yang. Whereas Romero's in, Mickey van der Ven uses the run to block and hold up the defender. So when people come at me and say, "Oh yeah, but his tackle rate's not good," that's because he uses that. So you need the balance.
Yeah,
I think if you had two players that were like Romero at the back, side by side, that might be an issue.
Well, you'd finish with 9 men for a start, Johnny.
Yeah, who's going off this week? Who's going to get sent off this week? You know?
Yeah, exactly. It is which one of the two, but you're right. But no, I agree with what you're saying. Not to go off on a tangent. The Romero thing is good to see sometimes. Maybe not in a friendly against Shakhtar Donetsk. I don't know. That's the only point I'd argue. But
he shook his hand. He shook his hand.
He did.
And the Shakhtar player shook his hand. I think we as fans wince because that's Romero, but the player had no issue with it whatsoever. None. Yeah, he got up and shook his hand. That's all you need to know.
Let's see what the guys in the chat who are watching this video once it's up. What do you think about Romero? Do you like the aggression even in a friendly? Are you like Johnny? You like to see it even if the player gets up, shakes their hand? Nothing wrong with that. It's what the past generations are used to. And to be honest, even 10, 15 years ago, Johnny, I'd say that the game was much more physical. And now you sort of get a foul for pretty much anything. And I think it is become too much of a soft game. I do agree with that.
I watched Arsenal today. Honestly, I watched that game. And honestly, I'm not just saying it because it's Arsenal. That shit sickens me. It really does, because they're going down. They're looking for every challenge. They got everything. It was like they're appealing for everything. And I think I'm going to quite like this rule with the referees, surrounding the referees and getting a yellow card, because Arsenal did that a lot last season.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
You know, they were constantly appealing everything. Arteta marching up and down the line. I mean, he was going like this with a yellow card today, and he got a yellow card for doing it, right? So I love it. So yeah, no, I just think there's a balance. He needs to be careful, but at the same time, I don't want him to hold back. Yes, he's going to get yellow cards. Yes, he's going to get suspended. Yes, there's likelihood he could get sent off, but so could any other player on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Johnny, we'll move it on to today's game in terms of the lineup. And, well, we saw a pretty familiar, it's starting to become quite a familiar 11. Vicario in goal. We'll discuss him because, I have my doubts about him. Maybe you feel a little bit more confident. I'm not too sure. We'll get your thoughts in a minute. Emerson Royale, I thought had a good game. Romero, obviously, we just mentioned him. Davies, not too much to mention about him. Udogie was standout for me, and Sarr and Maddison first half especially was fantastic. He was unbelievable. Won the penalty, of course, and he just drove at the defenders, pacey, weaving in and out. It was just class, I thought. And then obviously Sonny, Kulusevski, I thought had slower games. What were your thoughts on? Let's get your thoughts on the front four first of all. So talk to me about
Madison.
Maddison.
Go through that, or I could just go through them very, very quickly.
Go for it, mate. Go for it.
Okay, Big Vic, fantastic save. I thought it was fantastic, that save. It really was a top save. I also liked the fact when he ran out and dived at the feet of the player. For a big man, he goes down quick. Foster goes down like a falling tree. Right? So he went down quick.
Yeah.
Emerson Royal, all the haters, all the people, 1 year of supporting him. Finally, people are seeing what I've been saying for a year now. He's a right back, and he's a good right back. And not only is he a good right back, but when they move forward, he can slot into a right centre back. He was finding himself in the middle of the park. There was one incident where he won the ball back. He jumped up and won the ball at the edge of the box, did a 1-2 with Kane, and he went to score, and the Shakhtar player came in and blocked it, and then all the messages were, he should have scored. Bloody Emerson, he's useless. I thought we had a very good game. We're much more solid with him and Udogie, who on the other flank had a superb game. Davis was at fault for the first goal.
He was.
He has to go, right? Hotspur, another one that everyone seems to be wanting to get sold. He was passing the ball in that first half all over the place. Long passes, short passes, scooping up, did everything that was asked for him. Obviously, Ange set him a role to sit deep and play as the six, and that's what he did. Sarr, we've spoken about, superb. Maddison, first 20 minutes, actually, I thought it was quite quiet. 15, 20 minutes. He was quite quiet.
Correct.
15 minutes, probably. And that's because, I'm just skipping back a bit, Harry Kane keeps forgetting that he's the Harry Kane that he's been for the last 3 years where he has to drop deep. Harry Kane was spraying some unbelievable balls all over the place, right? Mm-hmm. He was doing that. And unfortunately, he blocks up a lot of that midfield. And second half, obviously, Kane. That's what I'm saying. I think Ange had a word with him at half time, and he completely changed the system, told them what he wanted, kept them in, and they were a different team in that second half. Kane played from the front, on the shoulder. Kulu, who had I thought, quite a poor first half, had a fantastic second half, couple of assists.
Yeah.
And Harry Kane, well, we say, Son.
He wasn't good, was he?
I'm going to be careful here, right? I don't think Son and Kulu, I think Kulu's better when he comes inside, and if he can get inside. Son struggled a bit with that. I think he's maybe not match fit. He's only had 45 minutes, didn't play at all in the first game.
Correct.
So he's just a bit behind the curve. But I thought all in all, fantastic performance, and even the subs did well.
No, great analysis, mate. Like you said, I mentioned Kulusevski I wasn't too happy with, but to be fair, I wasn't watching on Spurs play. I was watching on something else, and it was very hard to watch the second half. But Kulusevski first half, I thought was well off the pace, as well as Son. I'd say Son was even slightly worse. I thought Son was, every time he received the ball, his touch wasn't quite right. He was just not getting out of his feet, as we saw a lot last season. And I think, of course, he's had surgery now. Like you said, maybe he's not match fit. He hasn't had the minutes. Hopefully he comes good, because we know what a world-class player Heung-min Son is. But there is obviously some people doubting maybe it's time to move on. That's a completely another debate. We could be here another 20 minutes, Johnny, on that one.
That pass from Maddison with the outside of the right foot in the second half, where he just bent it round, I thought, wow, I mean, what's a pass? And Son of old, or Son fit, would have run onto that, and that would have been in the back of the net.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And I agree, mate. There's been many examples last season where Son's been served with a great ball and he's just been off it. But let's hope he gets back to it. I'm going to skip over, mate, because we've got a few more minutes.
Skip over, no pun intended.
To talk about, obviously, the main man, Harry Kane, 4 goals today. Is it the perfect send-off, or is it just the start of many goals this season? Johnny, I know I said to you in the pre-game, in the stream, what are your thoughts? Do you think he's going to stay? Do you think he's going to go? Just very quickly, mate, what do you think is going to happen?
I honestly, if he stays and he plays up the front and doesn't drop deep, he plays off the shoulder with Maddison, I think him and Maddison will have record goals. I've said it before. I reckon he'll smash it. And all those people saying he can't play in the system need their heads tested, because basically he's an intelligent footballer. All he needs to do is revert to how he played 3 years ago, and he will not stop scoring goals. Agreed. Haaland, this guy with this team, I reckon could potentially score more goals than Haaland did.
Really? 40 goals?
I think it's possible. I honestly, genuinely think it's possible that he could do something remarkable if he stays, because he's a better player than when he played up front 3 years ago before Eriksen left. He's got more to his arsenal. So no pun intended.
Don't talk about Arsenal on this channel, Johnny. First time on.
He's got more in his locker. Sorry. Everyone was talking about the clap at the end, right? You know, he went round, he was clapping everyone. And then I got messages from people saying he only clapped halfway round. He claps always at the end of the game. Okay. If I was Daniel Levy now watching this, I'd be calculating how much an extra 4 goals for Bayern today. I'd be whacking the price up. Well, the thing is, no one wants him to go for nothing, and then us have no money to buy a replacement. That's the only caveat. He's irreplaceable. There is no one else like him. We all want him to stay, but no one knows what's inside his mind. Only he knows right now, tonight, what he's doing. My thought is that he's going. If I'm wrong, I'll be delighted.
No, I've said it for a while. I think he's staying, mate. I think I can't see him going to Bayern Munich. I know Fabrizio Romano and various sources have said that apparently Kane wants Bayern, and apparently something's been agreed behind the scenes. But mate, I just can't see it. Why would he want to go to Bayern Munich, who win the Bundesliga every year with or without Harry Kane? They're not going to win the Champions League. They're not good enough to win the Champions League. I'm telling you that for now. I just don't see why the move makes sense. He completely sacrifices his Premier League goal record in terms of, okay, he could come back after 2 seasons and get those 47 goals, but it's a risk, isn't it?
I don't listen. I've said it for the last 2 weeks. What does he do? He goes to play at Bayern. He wins the Bundesliga. They've won 9 in a row, so they win 10 in a row. Does that elevate him? Does that elevate his status? No, it doesn't. The only thing that could possibly elevate his status right now is winning the Champions League, right? Yep. They got Kim Jong-May is coming. He's going to add to them. They've got Kimmich. They've got a good squad. I don't think they have the best squad, but we know that great players can elevate teams. And, you know, let's be honest, if Harry Kane goes there, he will make them a much, much better team.
Oh, 100%. They haven't had a number 9 since Lewandowski, and not really an out-and-out. Mane didn't work up front.
You mean Choupo-Moting? No good.
On, Johnny.
Is it an upgrade?
Less of that. Less of that on here. The final point, obviously, I said 20 minutes. We're just about to go over, but it's perfect, guys. And I haven't plugged it today. Hopefully, you've enjoyed the discussion. So please do smash the thumbs up button below. Helps the channel out massively. Subscribe and also go and check Johnny out. But we have got one more question. And please go to check Johnny out on Twitter. His tweet handle is there. He does fantastic spaces. Johnny, what else can people find you on over there, mate?
Well, I'm on Tottenham on Tour or on Sean's Spurs Talk Show.
Yeah,
and on Alan's on Alan's show. I'm channel hopping, as they say.
That's it, mate. But guys, go and follow him on Twitter. He does Twitter Spaces, essentially like a live podcast every day. So go and check him out. He's been a great guest. But Johnny, like I said, one more thing, mate. I've put this slide up. It's kind of the team's obviously celebrating one of the goals today. You mentioned Sarr. You mentioned Maddison. You mentioned Udogie. If you're going to give a man of the match, well, it's probably going to be Harry Kane. But if you give me 3 of your top ratings, and what do you give them out of 10?
My top ratings were Harry Kane, 10 out of 10.
Yep.
Maddison, 8.5. And Papa Sarr, 8.5. For the fact that he's 20 years of age and he was bossing that, they'd be my top three.
Yeah, I think I'd pretty much agree. I think I'd probably put Maddison at, like you said, an 8.5, 100%. Kane, you can't fault scoring 4 goals. You've got to put it up there, 9.5, 10. Doesn't get much better. And then, like I said earlier, I actually really did rate Udoji's performance as well.
He was fantastic.
Fantastic. So I'd probably put him as an 8. I think he was almost faultless. Like you said, he lost the ball maybe once. But going forward, he looked a threat. He was getting involved even in the box. Defensively, he looked decent. I thought he had a very good game, to be honest with you. And I'm really excited for the fullbacks.
Yeah, you can't stop him. When Udoji, if you watch him, Udinese, when he builds up pace, he's like a steam train coming down the tracks. You ain't not stopping him.
Yeah.
But he's also got the ball control when he cuts inside. He loves to cut inside from that left-hand side with pace and power and unleash a shot.
Yeah, he does.
And I reckon we're going to be seeing some of that today. And he's good with his head as well, as we saw against West Ham.
Yep. Exactly. Already amongst the goals in the friendlies. Hopefully in the Premier League season he will be as well. I reckon James Maddison's going to be getting loads of goals like Johnny mentioned. Maybe even breaking the goals and assists with Kane this season, if of course our main talisman does stay. But guys, that is all we've got time for on this episode. Johnny, it's been a pleasure, mate. You've been a great guest. Go and check him out. Like I said before, smash the thumbs up button. James. Smash the thumbs up button on this video. Subscribe if you are new to Spurs Related, and we will see you in the next one. As always, come on you Spurs!
Come on you Spurs!